All right, so you wanted a deep dive on this Harris-Trump polling, huh? You want us to, like, really get into it?
Absolutely. We're diving deep into the numbers. What's the story behind them?
Exactly, because it's more than just horse race coverage, right? Like, anyone can tell you who's ahead, but we want to know, what does it all really mean?
Exactly. What are these polls actually telling us about the election? What are, like, the real takeaways?
Okay, so first off, Harris is ahead, right? 47% to Trump's 42.
Right.
Not like a massive lead or anything, but it's a
Yeah.
jump, right? Like back in August, she was only up by 4 points.
Right.
And guess what? This latest poll, it was taken right after the first debate.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So not a coincidence, right?
probably not.
Yeah.
So what are we thinking here? Is this a debate bump?
It seems likely. It seems like that debate really had an impact on how people see the candidates.
Hmm.
I mean, look at the data. 53% of those who saw that debate said that Harris won,
Okay, wait, 53% included.
including a good chunk of Republicans, which, by the way, is pretty similar to what we saw with Biden in 2020. Debates can, like, totally shake things up.
Totally. Speaking of 2020 and Biden, remember all that talk about his age back then?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, the tables have turned because now a whopping 52% of voters think Trump is too oldie for the job.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
pretty big number. And it's kind of interesting, right? This whole age thing keeps coming up with Trump. Even now, without Biden in the picture.
Yeah.
Makes you think, maybe it speaks to something that voters are worried about.
Yeah. Like maybe they are looking for a president with a bit more, you know.
Stamina, experience.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about, the debate and this whole age thing, but it's not all about policies and sound bites anymore, is it? Seems like voters are really paying attention to character, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And this poll actually dug into that a bit. It looked at how voters perceive the candidates.
Yeah.
Like what kind of person do they seem like? And for Harris, it seems like the debate really helped. Most people found her to be, like, more dignified and relatable after seeing her on stage.
Interesting.
Right. And what's even more telling is this. When asked about moral integrity, Harris had 52% to Trump's 29.
Wow. Okay, that's a huge difference.
Exactly. And we can't just brush those kinds of numbers aside. They matter. Voters use them to make decisions, especially if they're undecided.
Right, right. Because it's more than just, do I agree with what they're saying? It's like, do I trust this person?
Exactly.
Okay, so before we go predicting the future or anything, we do need to remember that this is just one national poll, right? And it's the Electoral College that actually picks the president.
You got it. And while national polls can give us a good feel for the overall trends, we can't forget about those key battleground states. Those are going to be absolutely crucial for both candidates.
Totally. So what should we be looking out for as we, get closer to the election?
Keep a close eye on those state-level polls, especially in the battlegrounds. And voter turnout, that's always key. How many people actually show up to vote? That can make or break a campaign.
This deep dive has been fascinating. We've got this potential debate bump for Harris, the age factor for Trump, and then, of course, the importance of character.
All playing a role.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one.
It really is. I think if there's one thing for listeners to remember from all of this, it's this. Don't just look at the headlines. Really think about what those numbers are telling us. The context. What they might mean for how people vote, especially in those really important battleground states. It's going to be a fascinating few weeks, that's for sure.
It really is.